breads and cakes. Hear ye. Wait, is that how church starts? Hear ye. We're gathered here today to celebrate a cinematic, potentially icon, depending on how everyone agrees or disagrees about it during the course of this sermon. But we've got Brad, the naturally Jesus-esque figure. Milan, I didn't think of anything. I just saw the facial hair and the hair, and I was like, he looks like Jesus. Milan here, and me, and after today I can shave because I decided to keep it until we did this one just to match the Benoit. We got Wake Up Dead Man, written and directed by Ryan Johnson, with Daniel Craig as the titular detective. Yada yada. Budget of $210 million. Made something like $15 million. I looked that up. November 26, 2025. It came in theaters, and just watched it personally 21st time today just to prepare. But we're gonna roll into donations of a 420 variety. Brad, what's your 420 review?
I don't know where you're going with that, but that's fine. My 420 review: The Envy of Great Men, The Holy Grail Murder, Fisted into New Church, Twice in the Shower, A Road to Damascus.
What was the middle line?
Fisted into New Church. He was the boxer. Okay. Got punched.
I thought I heard that, but it sounded like a Brian line. Milan?
The Most Impossible Murder, Two Devils Not One, Boxer Seen the Light, Oh Samson, My Angel, Glitters Like a Diamond.
And mine for today is Religion's Purpose is Grace, When Evil Twists with Ends Justify the Means. We need to remember love for each other. And I almost forgot, got this over the holidays for the communal wine. Gotta pour a little for that. But yeah, what do y'all think? I know y'all heard me talk about how insane I was going at it with these, but first thoughts in a quick non-spoiler section. What do you think about Wake Up Dead Man? I know, Brad, you said privately that you'll never see cat cafes again. Or privately, Discord, text message, I forget where.
I guess of the three, I probably like this one the most.
Been hearing that a lot from people who were watching it. Anything in particular that resonated?
Not necessarily. It was just a slightly more enjoyable murder mystery than the other two.
Nice. Brad?
Well, I mean, I'm in the same boat. I think this was better than the other two. I probably need to sit down and rewatch it because I know that they gave a lot of clues, and if you were eagle-eyed or watched it multiple times, you could see said clues leading up to the eventual ending to this movie, including sound effects and visual aids.
All right, sound effects, I can definitely think of them. I'm fascinated all the clues that you saw because my memory of it felt like this one was the least cluey, or at least definitely compared to Glass Onion. I think the first and this one for me were most, you can think about it and like connect the dots in hindsight, but I don't know how I would have figured out this ahead of time, or at least all of it.
I had half right. I was half right towards the end, just from my initial gut feeling from when they're starting to introduce all the characters in the beginning, the first couple minutes of the movie. So I was half right.
Sure.
So that helps.
Yeah, I think the TLDR I'll say for this in the non-spoiler section is, while over the course of basically 4 days in theaters, never got sick of it. First viewing, I'm sure I was going to be like, haha, that was great. And then I was wondering if by the 18th viewing, it'd just be like, what are you all laughing at? This dialogue is trite and contrived. But the last two viewings were, the 19th viewing was a packed house, and then the 20th viewing was me and some random lady like 6 rows back. And even then, now I think I was giggling louder than her during the viewing. So it just never got old. I just held off rewatching it for the 21st time till the day of. I'm so glad how it played out in terms of order. Like the first one, chef's kiss. The second one was just like a big blowout broad comedy. And then this one does feel like the most resonant one. Does everybody hear a vacuum or a jet about to set off?
Oh, you probably hear my very loud laptop right now.
Okay, I'm gonna just play with an audio setting really quick. Cool. If anything else would be spoilers, basically we can do broad strokes. This one, Daniel Craig and Rian Johnson agreed that even though they were very happy with Glass Onion, they did want to go deeper again and not just so broad comedy light like that. So Daniel Craig asked him to come with something more resonant, and he just went back to his history where he was very religious. He wasn't Catholic, I forget what he was, but he said it wasn't just that he was in a religious household. Religion was his identity until at some point that changed and he went to the Benoit Blanc side of things. So he came at this wanting to channel or process those feelings and kind of examine it in the possibly the closest thing to a quote unquote spoiler that isn't really. It's not just a full roasting of religion. It is not like how Glass Onion was a full roasting of billionaires. It is, I think, a holistic view of what religion is supposed to be and then how people twist it. Or I guess the road to hell is paved by good intentions. So I'm glad that we could have this resonant one here before we get a long pause. What is everybody's rating on the dope meter from ayahuasca to Molly? Mine, I think, consistently was a mushroom. Before we get into spoilers.
Do you want to remind everybody the
ayahuasca, mushroom, edible, joints, skunky, poison, Molly.
I might as well go with mushroom.
Hey, cool.
what was the one above joint?
Mushroom. Wait, no, edible.
I'll go edible.
All right. So mushroom, edible, mushroom. We'll say. Is there anything else before spoilers? All right, then.
Almost all the trivia, which will.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
No. I'll sprinkle in throughout like our spoiler section, just because most of it has to deal with the points of the movie. So the only one that's not really a kind of a spoiler is that the name Wake Up Dead Man came off of a U2 song. Glass Onion came off of a Beatles song, so the title of that movie. So they're just kind of staying on theme with this.
All right, I do have to add, you are correct about the U2 song, but there's also a line from an old American folk song from Peter Seeger and Lead Belly, which says, "Wake up, old dead man," or something like that. He acknowledged the U2 connection, but that the first time he had ever heard that phrase was from some other song. But the rest of Bradley Cooper's trivia. All right, Bradley Cooper's much sexier than the real thing. Will be in spoilers. I couldn't keep going without the song. And one other thing that I almost forgot to say before spoilers is my partner got multiple Knives Out stuff, but wearing a definitely eat shit shirt. That they got. The other shirt just looks like this because they got the sticker in front of your worst nightmare, a can of dad jokes.
That you definitely do not need.
I don't, but I'm 3 cards in from 100 cards, I think. All right, spoilers for Wake Up Dead Man. 3, 2, 1. And I was wrong about how to identify murderers because I was convinced I was like, all right, it'll be the last person, or I was seeing that pattern, but I forgot that I was like, all right, eventually we'll have to have 2 murderers, or I guess 3, 2.5,
2.5,
2.5 murders,
2 and an assistant.
Because we got the gentleman. I do just want to throw out, I think Benoit Blanc has a beard and longer hair, literally because of the Jesus connection, because I know, unless Rian Johnson says never intended, I cannot be convinced otherwise that Monsieur Senior Wick didn't model his whole thing off Jesus. Like, he straight up has the hair, the beard, everything, and every time he talks about Jesus, he's talking about himself. Yeah, where do you all want to dive into it?
I guess one of my trivia facts here is that all of the murders from each film all appeared in the MCU. So we had Chris Evans from the first movie, we had Edward Norton in Glass Onion, and in this movie we had Glenn Close, Jeremy Renner, and Thomas Hayden Church.
Which now is retroactively in the MCU.
Yeah, so convenient. I think Ryan Johnson secretly hates the MCU. They're trying to turn all of their stars into murderers.
They're killing the film business, I tell you. You did remind me, though, Glenn Close, and I know it's ultimately disrespectful for the filmography they have, but this movie and Guardians of the Galaxy have my two favorite lines from Glenn Close I've ever heard. One is in the final act, blah, blah, blah. I don't know why. It just tickles me. And her in Guardians of the Galaxy, when she gets hung up by the Kree guy and just goes, prick. Something about Oscar worthy talent just saying something unexpected, kind of like Kurt Russell saying, I gotta go take a piss. It just tickles me. But yeah, I want to try to make sure I'm firmly in the background because I've been publishing the podcast episodes and I know I could talk about this for hours alone.
Yeah, we don't need that. Another connection. There was a lot of reuniting in this movie because you had Benoit Blanc, aka Bond, and then you had Felix Leiter in this movie, and you also had. Oh
my god! Sorry, I literally didn't even put that connection. I was like, "Damn, you burned Jeffrey Wright quick," but he wanted it, and he did a great job.
Obviously, a lot of MCU cast, and there was another set of people that had previously done big films together. Josh Brolin, and he's part of the MCU though. So yeah, most of this is a lot of MCU cast.
Yeah. Sorry, I think the audio's out of sync for just a little bit, so I got distracted. But yeah, Josh Brolin.
Yeah.
Big bad.
Obviously Bond and James Bond and Felix Leiter. Since they're both dead now.
I mean, Josh Brolin was also in Guardians of the Galaxy 1 with Glenn Close. They never shared scenes. This was one of, if not the first, role that Jeremy Renner did after his almost life-ending accident, which I thought would have been like his third or fourth role, and not possibly his first. With how glorious, I absolutely love how he walked when drunk. When he's like just had a little lunch and then walked, and considering he almost died, I wouldn't have blamed him if he physically couldn't move much, because he almost got killed by a snowmobile or something.
Yeah, he had jumped out to do something, and it rolled over him or something.
Save his nephew or something.
A snowplow. Yeah, it was something bigger than a snowmobile.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna talk.
No, there's just something weird going with this. I think it's getting better.
No, I'm gonna try and talk different off my lips here.
I know I can physically change it, but it's something.
They made a lot of other movie references throughout this movie, which is not something uncommon for Ryan Johnson. But I know they also one of the things was the Lord of the Rings. You shall not pass.
Yeah.
What else? There was a couple other like
Star Wars, which he said wasn't because he had been in it, but because it spoke to the times of people radically misunderstanding very obvious stories. I guess subtler versions are like people thinking that Fight Club was some like heroic thing for men instead of deconstructing toxic masculinity, or Red Pill with The Matrix, seeing it as like manosphere bullshit. But
and then the only last thing I got is you can see the wolf head on Senior Wicks, not Senior Wicks. What's his name?
Monsignor Wicks.
Monsignor Wicks. His robe on the day that he gets killed. You can see the wolf head on his thing when he turns, which you wouldn't notice during the movie. But if you go back and rewatch that scene, you could see the wolf head that's attached to his cloak. I don't know what the official term is.
Costume.
Yeah.
You can just say it.
It's a movie. So.
It probably took me like 6 viewings, but even from the first shot, when in that scene where they're showing the whole the flock mostly, and he's up on the top, it's also there. Because I know they flash back in the reveal saying that was there to that shot of him moving.
Yeah, and then the glass breaking, or you can hear the glass hitting the wall, and you can hear the glass shattering or whatever too, from the door, from the swinging of the door.
Oh, from it like pushing it up against the flask in there.
Yeah. So you can hear him kick it, and then you can hear it break, glass shattering. I think was that when he broke the vial?
He broke a window throwing the wolf head at the church.
But I think
that has black shattering. But when he pushes it, it has a tinkling, like another And
Yeah.
I guess it doesn't technically break, but it's like smushed in there.
Yeah, but I thought there was glass shattering too in that scene that you could hear.
Not that I remember.
Yeah.
You also see, God, I love it. You also see Jeremy Renner's character putting the thing in his pocket, or at least his arm moving to put the RF signal away, but they just never connect that back, or they never monologue it. I'm trying to stay back so y'all have verbs.
I like how they waited to introduce the movie and then brought in Benoit Blanc, and then he played off that he was just like interested in religion and stuff like that. And then when the police officer came to, like, I don't want to say hurry him up, bust him, whatever, and then he kind of had to give up his whole act for everything. And so I thought that was kind of different. It was different than the other movies where he came in as a detective, and this one he came in more as like I'm just, happen to be wandering through, a little interested in church, stuff like that. And then kind of like, I don't want to say like disagrees, but like they don't see the same way in certain things.
Yeah.
Which intrigues, what's his name? Judd.
Judas Judd.
Yeah, and they kind of banter back and forth a little bit too, until he gets rushed along by, what is her name? Can't think of what her name is from.
Chief,
yeah.
Chief.
What's the actress's name?
Mila Kunis.
Yeah.
Which that scene reminds me, and it's from almost like it is from the first time he ever goes into the church. How did you all feel about the rapid changes in light because of the sun going behind the clouds and such?
The only reason why I noticed was because I saw one of your TikToks that had mentioned it. So then I kind of paid attention to it a little bit throughout some of the scenes. But other than that, I mean, had you not said anything, I probably would have noticed outside of like
the last shot when he looks at the sun.
Yeah, well, that one was obvious. But then also like they darkened it when certain people were talking, or the room seemed darker when certain people were talking.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't have noticed had you not said anything outside of the obvious one at the end when they like have a spotlight on the guy.
Fair enough. The first one that I noticed was when he asked Benoit about religion, or like, what does he think about the church? And then he says, truthfully, yeah. And then it seemed to almost go black and white for me for a second in the theater. But yeah, that was from the very beginning. The inside of the church was a set where they can completely control the lights outside and do that. And they do it a lot because apparently in like Minnesota or wherever Ryan Johnson grew up, it was one of those areas where it could be very, very bright, and then the clouds could come over and could get very dark every 5. He said that classic, if you don't like the weather, wait 5 minutes, that kind of thing. But it happens from the first time we see Monsignor Wick, because Judd comes in, looks at the cross, or where the cross used to be. And then as soon as he opens the door, it is on a white wall, so it doesn't look very colorful. But then when it does wake up dead man and comes back, all the light gets sucked out of the saturation gets sucked out. And I think it happens. And of course, when Judd starts talking about, are these lies that speak to a truth? There starts being light behind him, behind his head, and a few other places. The obvious one being where he's like, he sees her having taken the pentobarbital, and he has his road to Damascus moment. But yeah, I need to. I've got Jay Kelly and this one to fully catch up on our reviews, and then just posting the review-a-thons. But when I have time, I need to do a video essay about all those color changes. There's also a lot of color played with the flashbacks, because I didn't notice it my first number of times, but the window from Judd's bedroom, when it does the flashbacks, especially for the live version with Grace, it has a lot of in-scene colored glass, pane glass? I don't know. Stained glass windows in the scene, like in the foreground, coloring the telling. But yeah. I
feel like they tried to be crude at some points of this movie. Like, I don't know what I was looking up to try and see what this was actually rated. If it was rated R. I don't remember there being any F-bombs off the top of my head.
This is the one where there's only one that I can remember, and I'm pretty sure this is the only one with one, where Kerry Washington says, "You fucking child," and then tells him to get his shit out on the road. And I think there was an F-bomb, but they voiced over it, I think, like did ADR with the author when he was talking about his survivalist freaks.
Yeah.
I didn't look at it closely, yeah. I think it was like fucking freaks or something like that. Because they did get away with 2 in the last one, so I think they tried to again.
Yeah, but I feel like they tried to be crude in some points with Monsignor Wicks. Like just like his vivid details of his habits when he was kind of like the first punch was thrown or whatever is what Judd said. He didn't realize that was the first punch.
His masturbating make believe.
Yeah, and then once he like, after what was that, like 6 months or something like that, he was like, yeah, I looked it up. You can't even do. It's not possible for your body to even do that. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And then the cat cafe thing, and I feel like there's one other thing that they were just kind of like, okay, that's like farther than we needed to go in certain things for no reason.
Yeah, I think when you talk that much about masturbation, you can't get away with 2 F-bombs. But it's...
I feel like they're just trying to set that up to where it would seem believable that he would just drop everything in religion so quickly over money.
Yeah. And he talked about how he had always envied his dad's power as a priest, or his grandfather's. I think his grandfather's, yeah.
The only thing I would really want to change, I mean, overall, I think this is a solid movie. The only thing I'd really want to change is that I wouldn't have wanted the final thing to be a diamond or a jewel or whatever that was. I think it was a diamond. I would have preferred it to be something more, enlightening, or like more of like not so much a physical thing, but more of like an idea of something. I'm trying to think of how I can put this, like a stairway to heaven type of thing, not so much like a physical diamond that you could sell or cash money like he was hoping it would be. Obviously, what's her name?
That would kind of ruin the whole money thing.
Yeah.
Right?
But I wish they would have thought it was money and it turned out it wasn't money, that it turned out it was something like metaphorically bigger kind of thing. But obviously that'd be pretty hard considering Martha knew that it was. Sorry, I've jotted some notes. That Martha knew that it was a diamond because she had that fight with, I forgot what Monsignor Wicks' mom's name was, the harlot.
Grace. Is her name Martha?
Mm-hmm.
The old lady?
Cool. I didn't realize that. I would have thought about Martha from the first one.
Yeah, and she called her a harlot whore or something like that, or whore harlot, or
harlot whore.
Harlot whore. So she's the one that kind of coined that term but that would have ruined everything because she would have known that it wasn't a diamond. Yeah. And
also, like he had a fortune that he used to build the church. So I guess it does. I mean, you do also have the more metaphorical thing of your inheritances in Christ. Like,
yeah, I just wish it would have been like not a physical item, that they thought it was a physical item that they wanted so bad. Mm-hmm. And it turns out that it wasn't a physical item, like the Holy Grail or something like that. Even though the Holy Grail is supposed to be a physical item, I think, right? But anyway, tangent for another time. But like something like that, where it's like you're chasing after not necessarily the idea, but like everything leads you down the right pathway. And then you went down that right pathway for the wrong reasons because you thought it was money or a diamond or whatever. So that'd be the only thing I'd really want to change.
I think they kind of still got that same effect with Samson. I feel like that was part of his purpose. Like, if anything, I wish that they would have made Martha a tad bit softer, because from the very start, at least I was like, okay, yeah, we know she's the killer. Like, just because of how she was kind of set up. Yeah, like you knew that she was involved, and like there was just no way really around it. But if they had made her a little bit softer, I think there could have been that little bit of doubt left there to where you could have been like, is she involved? But there was like no doubt whatsoever. Like, I was even just waiting for them to reveal that her as a kid was a complete dick. So I was so happy when they showed like what actually happened. I was like, yeah, that seems more realistic. I did not believe he said anything nice to her, like in that whole flashback scene. But, Samson's, death in that whole part there, like, I feel like that kind of served the role for what you're talking about. Because that seemed to be where Martha like started to realize like, oh, I went down the wrong path because I was chasing after this thing, or I was so focused on them not sinning over this money that now I let somebody who truly was good, die because of my deeds. And then that's when she had her villain arc. And at that point, then it was really about vengeance. It wasn't about the jewel so much anymore.
And let me correct something I said before we go too far forward. I conflated Martha and Marta from the first one. So that's my mistake. Yeah, fair. I think they did a really, even though y'all are more perceptive than I am, I think they did a really good thing or a really smart thing of having Martha be there so much for exposition before the murder happened. And also, I've known so many people who kind of use their religion as a way to judge people. I think it's a really fascinating thing how many people in this movie seem to not know the sentence, he without sin cast the first stone, that thing. Because even the grandfather, like, I get where he's coming from ish, but like, what a dick fucking move. Like, you can't, if he had been following his religion to the letter, he would not have lied. He would have kept his promise. He would have let her make her own decisions and or just done something with it. He went for like the vibes instead of something good. He could have donated all that money to be used for good, but instead he just went for his own, like, also he committed suicide, which means he's in hell.
He purposely killed himself with the jewel to teach her a lesson.
Like, that dude is not in heaven if everything is the letter of the law in the Bible. Like, also, small detail I have to add, the little bit of wet sound the first time Judd and Monsignor shake hands after the masturbation, there's a little, and then at the end, when him and Benoit shake hands, obviously there's no noise there, but just the difference in feel for those two handshakes. I appreciate it. Like, finding salvation in each other, even if both people don't believe in the same religion, mythology, whatever you want to call it, but they can find each other, have respect for each other, but have their own sets of beliefs without judging each other for it. I will say, if in the next one there's not a moment where Benoit's like, last chance to confess, okay, then I'll kind of be like, missed opportunity.
They kind of made a slide, like, jab at politics and stuff like that too with Psy. That dude was out there. But then, like,
who takes a recording, a very obvious recording, to a very secretive meeting, like, not even trying to hide it, like, he just didn't care.
Honestly, I can see it with, like, people who I would believe would respect that boundary, like Casey Neistat having their camera all around, but then having someone who's coming at it not from I want to record everything to make a piece of art every day, but I want to record everything because I'm important, and that the world needs to know that I'm important and that I need to have power. And
I can farm clicks for, rage bait, and I forgot all the things they listed off for, like.
Dude, if you look at the view counts, I think in the first shot we see is like 36 views on average, or less than 100, and then by the time it's the killer priest, it's like hundreds of thousands of views, if not millions, plus a lot of subscribers. So he's literally like getting his dream, and he doesn't.
I'm just glad they had a character like that in there to kind of be that side of things too. Because you had you filled in a lot of different characteristics. The drunk, you had the person that tries to do everything right but seems to do everything for the wrong way. With the lawyer,
who is that? Okay,
the lawyer. Who else? Psy was the politician. Who else?
We have the author, the person who feels like they're being attacked by the world, but they're just turning themselves into a mediocre piece of shit. Zachary Levi. That's the latest example I can think of.
The person who's trying to use religion to heal themselves and feels bad, gets kind of like guilted into everything, donating basically their entire wealth to try and heal her from something that she's not going to heal from. Yeah,
in the flock, I guess she would be the most victim. Like, she is the victim.
Yeah.
And then the person, Samson, who actually uses it for good, although, naive in his love to not question it and be like, are we murder? Is this bueno? But weirdly, if they hadn't killed him, we'd actually be worse off, because the whole purpose, it took me a while to put this together. Whole purpose of him doing the claim of parentage, whatever that was because he wanted to cash in the diamond and then go off and be a rich guy with his son. So if he had succeeded in getting the diamond and selling it, then his son, of course, would be like, say the same shit. And then he'd go and, can you imagine what we could both do with in the name of the Lord or Christ? So weirdly, she helps save people from another billionaire psychopath running for office and radicalizing millions of people wildfire online.
I guess he also had Judd too, who was trying to run away from his guilt of killing somebody.
Yeah. Oh, someone who actually finds sustainment or a path forward.
Yeah, from his guilt of killing the person in the boxing ring.
Yeah. I'm looking at the background, which is the moment where Judd saying, look here, me and Benoit Blanc are going to ask you a bunch of questions and figure out who murdered Monsignor Wick and why. And that's it. And I love the little bit of Foley that they have for the paper, subtly like keeping it in the back of people's minds that this paper is going to be a little important when he looks at it. Also, you know, Benoit Blanc telling us he's a father in this film. When Judd says, remind me to file this, file that immediately. Great dad joke. But, I cannot forget to mention my new favorite quote ever from a movie, which is Kerry Washington's, you eat his shit with a spoon and ask for seconds. I'm going to start using that in videos whenever I can. It's so good. Oh, but yeah, back to the politician, him listing all those things and then ending with people are just numb. I don't know why. And then maybe we should get back to the fundamentals. Fundamentals, like taking something they love and taking something they hate and telling them it's going to take something they love. Just, this movie both feels worthwhile to process it, and then in the aftermath of it, I'm just like, God, the number of people who could just, if they could just get the message. But try to stay back still.
No, I think we can compare this to the other Knives Out movies.
All right. Really quick. Actually, I don't know. Was there any negatives of this movie for you?
I think I kind of already touched on what my only negative kind of would have been with the whole Martha thing. Because again, just like I was saying before, with the other two, it just, when you have the answer when you're so confident of the answer that early in the movie and then it's confirmed later on, it's just not satisfying. It would have been fine if it wasn't Martha, but there was no way it wasn't going to not be her.
She needed to be there. And then it was just a matter of who helped her or how she got it accomplished. Because she was the half that I had. I didn't have Jeremy Renner as the other half. But I knew that she wouldn't be the only one. But I thought it was going to be her and Judd at the end of the day. I just didn't know how they were going to do it.
I mean, honestly, when he said, why'd you do it? I was like, holy shit, we're doing this. So I am curious the day where the main character is the murderer or something like that. But I don't know. I'm okay. So I want to run this by you and feel if you agree at all. It felt like Mila Kunis was out of place. Does that make sense? Like, she felt a little out of place, and weirdly, because I'm not the hugest fan of her as a person because of the weirdness with the Hyde actor and her and Ashton Kutcher's were being held captive apology for sending a note to the judge on his behalf. Anyway, so I hope that's not coloring it too much, and she's been in Black Swan. She was amazing in that 70s show. I love her in Forgetting Sarah Marshall, but something felt odd. It felt like the acting was a little just not on the same level as everyone. It felt clunkier. When she walks in at the end into the church, she's holding her hands weird. She does. I don't know if I watched it too many times and her acting started not feeling as natural, but I kept wanting her character to be played by Laura Dern for some reason, who was the actress in Jay Kelly who kissed Adam Sandler and left early. But did that ever hit you? Or I don't know. It's the first character, main cast member who I ever felt was you feel out of place here. Something just feels a little off. And I do want to say she accepted the role. Like he was like, do you want to check? And she's like, yes. And was like, do you want to read the script? Yeah. Nope. Yes. And was like, maybe read the script. So everyone in this cast, I think, is incredibly humble. Like she should be doing her own main role. She could be. She was just like, let's go. And she seemed like she was wonderful with everyone in her cast. But I don't know, for some reason, it just felt, I don't know if I've just rewatched it too many times.
I mean, I don't see that. If anything, I felt like her character, and I guess her in that role, I don't know, was needed, at least for me as a viewer, because it helped keep the rest of the film grounded, because so much of the film was wrapped up in religion and potential fantasy and what happened and whatnot. And she was a piece that was like, no, this is a real murder. This is a murder mystery. And she kind of helped keep that balance.
Yeah.
So I appreciated like the way that her portrayal was starkly different than the others, because everyone else was stuck in this whole world of demons and angels and resurrections. And she was, no, this is a murder. We have a job to get done.
Yeah, she kind of kept everything on the timer, because like on murder mysteries, it can feel like it gets stretched out too far. Like too many days and nights go by without like, all right, no, the police have got to step in at some point in time. You can't just let this rogue detective go, do his own thing kind of thing. So she was definitely the timekeeper of everything, and like, no, we got to arrest him now, like stuff like that. I wish she would have had just a little bit more screen time, or maybe a little bit more interaction with Blanc as more of like a adversarial role, like she kind of did in a little bit in the beginning. Like, no, we've got to go. You've already been in here for 5 minutes talking to this guy. We've got to go.
Yeah,
like, we need to start the investigation process. Blah blah. So I don't think she had enough time to build that character, but I do think she had like a weird like Southern accent that was kind of like a little over the top. Kind of. I don't think it was necessary. I think she could have just been her regular self and a regular voice, and it would have been fine.
Okay. Yeah, her part definitely is necessary. Like it reminded me of when Tom Cruise apparently gave hundreds of pages of notes on Tropic Thunder. He said, I don't feel the pressure from the studio. So I like that character's use as a ticking clock. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. I just, some of her reactions and scenes were like felt timing wise off or late. Like she didn't hear somebody and then she remembered her line, or I don't know. I'm probably thinking too much about it, but I just want to see it. Also, maybe my opinions of her because of that one example have colored it and made me examine it too much. But God, if I could have her retake just at least the walk into the church at the end when she has her hands like this, it would make it, I would love it so much more. Yeah. All right. That's my whole thing. What were you queuing us into? Oh, the rankings. That's right. Actually, let me open them up because I edited them in, but I forget where our rankings actually were. All right. So I don't remember the order I did these in before, but I'm assuming best movie. We have or best murder mystery in the Benoit Blanc universe. We have Glass Onion and Knives Out. Glass Onion is number 1. Knives Out is number 2. Can I guess who thinks this is better than Knives Out? Yeah, everybody unanimous. Who thinks this is better than Glass Onion? Is that also unanimous? Nice. All right. For the best protagonist, we have number 1, Helen. Number 2, Marta. Who thinks Judd?
Judd is the best.
All right, shooting straight to the stop. You both agreed on that? I don't know where I land, obviously.
Judd would be the best protagonist, yeah.
Honestly, I appreciate y'all because I don't know where I land on that. Haven't thought about it yet. Best, let's see. We've got favorite murderer, since, of course, the person at number 1 is not the best. But we've got Ransom at number 2. We have Miles Braun at number 1. And the best I could think of to channel the religion of it would be the mother, the boy, friend, and the holy drunk. Who thinks mother, the boy, and the holy drunk are better than Ransom?
I'm just going to say Martha is better than all of them. I don't know about the other stuff you're talking about.
Well, they're all the murderer, technically, like as a group. Martha. So would including them all sink that for you? If we included Samson and Jeremy Renner? Which, yes, they did have a running hot sauce in the bar when he walks up.
Stick with Martha. She was the mastermind behind all of it. It lessens it when you add the other two in there.
All right, then.
Because we didn't do Cruz for the other one.
Well, the other ones only had one murderer.
Well, that's fair, but we all know who the mastermind is.
All right, so if we had just Martha, does everyone agree that it would be number one? Or Brad, where would you go? Better than Ransom?
I'd probably put her at 2. I'd put her behind
Miles?
Miles Bronson.
Oh, yeah, because this is also favorites. So it doesn't...
Oh, yeah.
Best isn't... Otherwise, Miles will be 70th. Number 2? All right. If we had 2 brackets that included Samson and Jeremy Renner's character, would that put them all to number 3?
I'd probably stay for number 2 for me.
I'll stay at number 2.
I don't know. I'm just not a big fan of Glass Onion, so I guess that's probably ruins it for me.
Fair enough.
Chris Evans is...
Are you talking about you're not a fan of Knives Out? Because Chris Evans is not.
Yeah,
gotcha.
Fun. Yeah.
Okay. So we've got them at number 2 for favorite murderers. And then best supporting. We have at number 2 Thrombies, number 1 Shitheads. So is The Flock better than the Thrombies? I don't know.
Yes.
I don't think so. Like Jamie Lee Curtis, the cheating husband, Ransom, eat shit. And I mean, no, but then there's other.
So
Kerry Washington, the eat shit and ask for seconds or eat his. But then you.
Glenn Close, Jeremy Renner.
The Flock. So Glenn Close doesn't count. At least Glenn Close doesn't count in the Flock. She definitely pulled at least one Flock member of Jeremy Renner. We could argue that. But like even the blonde half of Garfunkel and Oates.
You just mixed 2 bands there.
No, let me fact check myself, but there's a comedy band called Garfunkel and Oates.
Maybe. I was going to say Garfield.
Yeah, Garfunkel and Oates, they have a great... oh, God. No. Why is the one video... where'd Milan go? Oh, no. Well, I'll say this so Milan doesn't have to hear it. The one song I know from Garfunkel and Oates, it's great, but it's called Fuck Me in the Ass Because I Love Jesus. It's God's Loophole. There were kids who were having anal sex to avoid the sin of premarital sex because it was a loophole. Even she was great in her little bit of delivery, but then you've got... So even though we have the villain of the Sherlock series in the Flock, yeah, I'm not including... Martha.
I think I put him at 2nd behind the Glass Onion.
The Shitheads.
Yeah.
Is that where you land, Milan?
I'm good with that.
Okay. All right. So it'll now be Shitheads, Flock, Brombies, and then the final one. This will probably extend the podcast by an extra 30 minutes, just how much we have to discuss. But we have the final one, the best Benoit. We have number 1 Benoit and number 1 Benoit. So in the ranking of Benoit's at number 1, does everyone think Benoit should be number 1? This is my favorite one. It's just going to be best one Benoit, number 1 Benoit, number 1 Benoit, number 1 Benoit. But any last things you want to say before this mass wraps up? All right. May everyone attend the Lady of Perpetual Grace, or whatever the church is now called. And this movie may be a mushroom, or maybe a mushroom, or maybe an edible. At the end of the day, this movie's dope because movies are dope.
But no.
What?
This whole pacing thing, I feel like there needs to be a conversation around it.
It's hard because we're all doesn't feel like we're synced.
I kind of love it.
Like he purposely looks at us and is like, I'm gonna make sure I go off of what they're saying.
Well, I do. I don't want to say, but make sure movies are dope, and then you both are like movies, and it not be so. The pacing has kind of become part of the fabric of it. But if you want, I can say, well, we all know that movies are dope. We could do it quickly if you want. I just genuinely don't know, especially with a delay like this, how to do it in general unison. But at this point, even if we had if we all ended up living in the same city and had like a stage version of this and we're all together, it kind of just feels to me right for it to be like that at the end. I'm not doing it to mess with you. I'm just doing it to try to be at all in sync. I mean, here, if you want to practice it, like,
nope.
just to see it fast. Okay. All right. And this will just be one of those, right before cutting. Oh, no, I didn't mention it. Brad's engaged.
Yes, and
Woo!
that's so awesome.
We talked about it beforehand, but I'm gonna have probably put this at the front that Brad's engaged. So, it's kind of cool. The podcast just what? Well, I got married. You're engaged. I hope to be. Anyway, bye now.
I'm living in a movie, there's a scene you gotta jump. I got my people at the viewing who all knew me selling tickets. Yeah, they talking about the beauty. I see Scorsese outside saying this isn't cinema. Free man, I ain't doing shit tomorrow, I don't need plans. I'll be kicking it till April off for $3 grand. I don't even need the money, I just need fans. I just need fans.